Welcome to the Rise and Wander podcast, where we'll explore adventure, spirituality, and empowerment through the outdoors and beyond. Join me, Carla Amador, as we focus on topics around the mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional benefits derived through the outdoors. You'll also hear inspiring stories, get educated, and more. Let's get started. This season's podcast is sponsored by Oboz Footwear, based out of Bozeman, Montana. I proudly wear my Oboz footwear for hiking, traveling, and more. They have many styles and options to choose from for all your winter and hiking needs. Looking for hiking boots, recovery shoes, or fast and light hikers? Look no further and check them out at obozfootwear.com. Welcome to the Rise and Wander podcast. I'm your host, Carla, and today we are talking all about the gear you need to consider when traveling. This is episode 4 of this series. I'm so happy to be sharing this with you today, and I think you're really going to enjoy this as you are thinking about what you need to plan for when it comes to your travel. Now, today is going to be focused mostly on traveling places where it's warm. So I want to share that about the gear. Depending on where you're going, you're going to need different things. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But I did actually ask you all what you wanted to know about when it comes to travel. And the top thing I received was top 10 items that I recommend, and also a good rain jacket recommendation. So we'll get into all of that. To start, as I mentioned, this list is going to be focused more on when you're traveling to places that are going to be hot, warm, maybe beach conditions, that kind of travel. If you're going somewhere where you need to start getting into layering systems, like when I did Kilimanjaro, we had to plan for extremes. So very different packing list. Giving you the example of Africa, Kilimanjaro, they gave me a packing list for the trip. So I had to plan a lot more than if I was going somewhere for a beach vacation in Mexico. So today we're going to focus on if you're going to be traveling anywhere from a week to even a month, and how I got away with literally one backpack when I first started traveling. I never thought that I could do such a thing. So that was really shocking when my partner at the time said, "Hey, this is all we're taking." And it was a backpack. And I was really concerned. And I actually thought outside the box and decided, why not try? And from that point, I really haven't looked back. I love just taking a carry-on, and usually it's a backpack. We'll talk a little bit about your luggage options, but I just wanted to say, be open to trying things out. You don't know until you try it. My first trip that I remember that I did this for was when we went to Central America, and I had a 25-liter pack and maybe a personal bag. I never thought I could do such a thing. And it was just so freeing, like not having to stop to carry luggage around, because I've done that. When my son was younger and we went to Europe, we were lugging around these huge luggage down these cobbled streets, and it was just such a hassle. So ever since I learned how to backpack light and travel light, I've never turned around. I've just said, this is the only way to travel. And actually, since then, I have traveled with my backpacking pack that also allows me to carry a lot more stuff, but still just have it on my back. And usually I don't have to check it. Now, there have been times where they'll look at it and they'll be like, you need to check that. You're going to have to check, is luggage included? Carry-ons, by the way, all of that has gone away. So sometimes they're like, you can bring a backpack or a personal item and they will give you dimensions. So make sure to check with that. And my last couple flights, I've been having to add on a personal carry-on. Let's get into the list. And I will try to number these for that person that wanted like my top 10. I will try to number these just so you have an idea of what is absolutely necessary. And most of the stuff I wrote here is actually pretty necessary, or like things to consider. And I'll give you that as we're going down the list. And I do have notes As I mentioned, this list and these ideas are based off of you going somewhere that's going to be warm weather, maybe the beach. So there's not a lot of concern for cold weather packing. All right. Most airlines, by the way, I looked this up. A backpack that is carry-on is usually around 22 by 14 by 9 inches. So it's important to still check with the airline you're traveling with because every company is going to have their own dimensions. So I looked that up, and that is about a 40-liter pack, like the REI Trail Pack 40. And it's a nice size. It will work. And then with your personal item, I have a Fall Raven bag. I like it because I could put my laptop in it, and then I can put my toiletries in it. And that's also a bag that I can carry around like a backpack or like a purse. So that kind of doubles for me. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. Okay. So let's first start off with luggage, which is number 3 on the list, by the way, but let's just start with that. So when you are traveling, and we're going to be focusing on carry-on only, you are going to be able to bring some kind of a small rolling luggage. And again, the dimensions, you need to look at your airline to get an idea. Usually those luggage do say it's carry-on approved or something like that. And then usually you'll get a personal item, which could be like a nice size purse for a woman or a small backpack. You can have a 40-liter pack. I've carried my backpacking pack as well. So again, you'll just have to verify with the airline, make sure your measurements are within range. Also, don't forget to check. Some airlines have weight limitations. So sometimes it's like you can only have 20 pounds max in your carry-on. So be mindful of that. Okay, so let's get into the packing list. And this, I believe, you can travel for a week to a month or longer. I've traveled minimally for 3 months before. So don't underestimate what you can bring in a 40-liter bag and having a personal item as well, where you carry some additional things. So let's get into it. And I'll go backwards. I'll do the top 10 afterwards. I'm just going to go down my list first. I like to bring 1 to 2 pairs of shorts, or you can mix these, right? It could be shorts and a skirt. For men, it might just be 2 pairs of shorts. It might be 1 pair of shorts. You can typically wear a pair of shorts 2 to 3 times before they need to be washed. So no one really cares. You're on vacation. You're going to be putting it on top of your bathing suit sometimes. I like to bring 2. So for me, I might bring a skirt and then I might bring a pair of shorts. Then I can actually wear that skirt out as well. So 1 to 2 pairs, whatever you decide that configuration to be, should be pretty manageable. Also, don't forget the materials. Whatever you're looking for it to be moisture wicking, I like for it to be super lightweight and also packable, like really small. There's a brand out there called Viore that I really like. I have some shorts from them that pack so small and they're super comfortable. I can wear them hiking. I can wear them to the beach. I can wear them around town. As you are buying stuff and planning for your trips, buy stuff that's multifunctional that you can use for all the things. My skirt is an REI skirt and it's like a hiking skirt. It's like an adventure skirt, but it also looks nice if I just want to go out and have lunch. I don't even know if they make it anymore, to be honest with you. Next is a pair of pants. Now, I'm going to recommend that you bring at least 1 pair of convertible pants. Or if you're not into convertible pants, you can do some other set of pants that you like, even jeans if you really want to. But when you're traveling somewhere tropical, somewhere warm, you might not really want to wear jeans. It's just really up to you. The reason why I like convertible pants is because they can turn into shorts. So now you even have an extra pair of shorts there. You can wear it as pants. And if you buy a pair of, let's say, black pants, they look good when you go out at night. They look good during the daytime. And then again, you can wear them as shorts. There's lots of pants that are convertible out there. Brands like Prana, REI has those kinds of pants. I know that Outdoor Research has those kinds of pants. So I could go on and on. As I mentioned, REI is one of our sponsors, and going to REI and asking them, like, hey, what is a pair of convertible pants that would work? There's different styles. And the other thing about convertible pants is they convert into capris. So they have a lot of function to them. And they're super lightweight, they're breathable, they'll keep you cool. They come in so many different colors. There's green, khaki colored, and all kinds of colors. So you can go check that out and decide if you want to do that. In addition to that, I like to bring 1 to 2 super lightweight dresses. Again, dresses that I can wash really easily. They go over my bathing suit. I can wear it out at night. I like to bring a pair of either yoga pants or yoga capris. You could wear yoga shorts. That's another option. But I like to double these as my PJs if I'm not going to be getting them dirty. And on that topic, you can also bring sleeping PJs if you want. Next up, you can pack anywhere from 4 to 5 shirts. You want these shirts to be moisture wicking. You want them to be quick dry, lightweight, maybe even have some sort of protection against the sun. So here are a few combinations. You could do 2 tank tops, 2 t-shirts, and 1 nice going out shirt. Or you could do 2 tanks, 1 t-shirt, and 1 going out shirt. It just really depends, like how much you want to carry and also how much space you have in your pack. You can get away with 4 of these and you should be fine. So now that you've got that, depending on how much space you have, I say bring 1 bathing suit, but if you're going to be at the beach all the time, you might want to bring 2 bathing suits. That is totally fine. Of course, you could bring more bathing suits if you want, but again, I'm trying to help you to get a really light pack in order here. And then 5 underwear minimum, and that doesn't include the one you're wearing. So technically you'd have 6. Obviously you can wash all this stuff that I'm telling you to bring too. It's really great if you're hand washing stuff as you go. It just dries fast. So you can wash your underwear every day if you want. And then you don't even need to bring 5 underwear. If you really didn't want to, you could bring 3, but I always like to bring extra and not worry about it. At least for women, I recommend 1 bra if you want for when you're going out. Or not, that's totally fine too. At least 1 to 2 sports bras because you're going to maybe be going out hiking and being active. And in this case, because we were focusing on being outdoors and maybe beach time, I only had you pack 2 to 3 pairs of socks. They could be lightweight socks. There's been times where I have wool socks. I don't have to wash them for 3 uses because they don't get smelly or I'm not sweating so much in them. I really love Darn Tough socks. They're great. Okay, so the next thing is you're going to want to have a sarong or a towel. Let's talk about the 2. Sarong I like because I can use as a dress sometimes and cover up, but also I can lay it out on the beach. However, some people want the 2 separate. So I did actually bring something here to show you. This is an REI packable towel, and you can do that in a sarong or cover up in a sarong and use that as your towel. So this is really small and it fits at the bottom of my pack and it's a towel. So if you want a towel, here you go. That's an option. I actually use the sarong as my everything. So I don't even need to bring a towel sometimes. When I'm done, I just wrap it over me and I walk around town in it. And there's lots of ways of wrapping it and all of that. By the way, you can buy a lot of these things when you're traveling. I wanted to take a moment to thank this season's Rise and Wander podcast sponsor, REI. REI is the outdoor gear retailer of the 52 Hike Challenge. I've been a member since I started my 52 hikes in 2012, and they've helped outfit me for all things hiking and outdoors since then. Becoming a member has many perks like 10% back annually on eligible purchases, a satisfaction guarantee, which gives you up to a year to return any purchases you aren't satisfied with, free shipping in the US, and so much more. Please visit them at rei.com. Join me for a year of hiking in 2025 with the 52 Hike Challenge. Commit to your personal journey outdoors alongside a supportive community and make 2025 your year of hiking. Take your family, friends, furry pets on an adventure they'll always cherish. Plus, you'll gain the physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional benefits derived through nature and hiking. Learn more and sign up at www.52hikechallenge.com. And see you on the trails. All right, so let's talk a little bit about footwear. Some people like to bring flip flops and then going out shoes. I really like Tivas, and they are great because I can take them to the beach and then I just go wash them and I wear them out at night. And recently I got the platform versions and they're really comfortable. I'm able to walk in them all day. I've taken them to the beach. They look cute with pants. They look cute with dresses, with anything that I'm wearing out. That's an option. And in that case, then you don't need to bring an extra pair of flip flops. I just make that my going out beach sandal. And then I bring one pair of travel hiking type shoes. Something that I like would be like the lightweight Catabatics LT. They're super lightweight. I can walk in them for hours and hike in them and all of that. I typically put those on when I'm going on the airplane. Also, don't forget with these items, you could wear any of these or you could bring an extra outfit. As long as your stuff fits in your backpack, that usually will tell me if I'm going to wear my items that I'm going to be taking on my trip. You want to have at least one lightweight sweater or like a lightweight jacket that looks good with dresses. I carry a really nice comfy sweater. And then if I get cold, I can wear that underneath a rain jacket, which keeps me insulated and typically in a place that is warm. You're not going to need anything more than that because it can rain in tropical places. So that's why I recommend a rain jacket, which brings me to a question that I received from Beatrice, who said she wanted a recommendation for a really good rain jacket. She said she got soaked. She thought her rain jacket was waterproof. Okay, so I have tons of education on rain jackets, and the reality of it is there is something called waterproof and water resistant. Water resistant is going to repel light, small rain, but it's not going to be waterproof. So when you're buying a rain jacket, you want to look for something that's waterproof. And then there is a whole system which tells you how many layers it has that is going to help keep the water out. Basically, the higher the amount of layers, let's say you have a 3-layer waterproof jacket, it's going to be more waterproof than a 2-layer. Eventually, the layering system might actually get so drenched that you're still going to get wet. There's a technology out there called Gore-Tex. It allows the evaporation to escape the material, but doesn't let any exterior moisture come in. That is going to cost a lot more. You can spend $200 to $500-$600 for a really good rain jacket. Now, there are cheaper options out there. I heard of a brand called Frog Togs that people were raving about on one of my trips. Another thing you can do with waterproof items is there's a product out there called Nick Wax that allows you to re-waterproof your waterproof gear. And lastly, if you're not sure what kind of material you have, you can go online and do some research, but know that anything that is water resistant is not going to keep heavy rain out. After a while, I will say that rain gear does tend to fail. So at some point, it also might be time to replace your rain gear. So knowing the weather as you're packing is really important. I always bring a rain jacket no matter what. If I get cold, I can put my layers on and then usually I'm fine. I've even used my sarong as an extra blanket if I've ever been on a bus and it's really cold in the bus with the AC. Make sure that you are mindful of the weather. I've been to countries where we've traveled in the rainy season and it was only raining in the mornings, and then the evenings and afternoons are gorgeous, and that's when I would go to the beach and never really had any issues. But if you get caught in those downpours without proper gear, you're going to get soaked. I hope that was helpful, Beatrice. I think the number one most important thing when you're traveling is your passport, especially if you're traveling outside of the country. And so I always put that in my bag a week or two before, just so I know it's in my backpack and I'm not going to forget it. Followed by cash or credit cards. I always bring a little bit of cash, whether it's US dollars. I've learned that it's easier and you get a better rate on your cash when you just take it out of the ATM machines when you're traveling. And I typically do that. I bring a couple credit cards, my debit cards, and make sure to take photocopies of everything. So I always say, if I make it and I forget everything, I could always buy everything I need when I'm traveling. Not that I want to do that, but if you have your passport, your credit cards, you make your flight good, you can buy it all out there. And also, by the way, total side note and tip, I remember when I was first in Greece and I wanted to buy everything. And I was like, why did I bring all my stuff? I could have just brought one or two items and bought like all these outfits. I didn't do that. I sometimes regret not doing that. There's been a lot of times where I'm like, oh, I wish I would have just bought all my stuff here. So, with that, you're going to want to have either like a money belt or maybe a fanny pack or a small purse. This is something I really love. It's an Osprey little tiny pack. I love this. And if I'm going to be hiking or I just need an extra bag, it's a full sized backpack. And I've hiked full day hikes with this. This also is a great pack for the beach. Yeah, I just had this on my trip. But, anyways, you get the picture. Okay. Now we're going to get into a little more accessories. So you need a hat. I have a hat that's big brimmed because for me, I get burned really easily. And secondly, the sun is a lot stronger in certain places around the world. So I try to protect my face. That's really important, having some sunscreen with you, or you can buy it when you're there. By the way, sunscreen is usually a lot more expensive in places. So I like to bring mine in these little tiny packable containers. So sunglasses, must. And I just bring inexpensive glasses. Side notes, a lot of times when you're traveling, depending on where you're going, I definitely don't go flashy. I don't bring any name brand things. I try to keep a low profile. I just bring my gooder glasses or whatever I have in my pack, nothing fancy. And again, that just depends on where you're going and how you're traveling. But you absolutely need to pack your toiletries and bring mini items, right? A lot of hotels are going to have a lot of things for you, like bar soap, and they'll probably provide shampoo and conditioner, and you can ask for more, but you can bring your own if you want. There's been times where I've traveled and I'm like, I really didn't need to bring a ton of toiletries. I just needed like toothpaste, a toothbrush, my razor, all of that. I'm not going to tell you what to put in your toiletry kit because you're going to know. But for ladies, I also like to pack a really small makeup kit, and I try to put all my mini stuff in there if I can, just to make it as small as possible. And there's been times where literally all I've brought on the trip was just eyeliner, mascara, a little blush, and a lipstick, a lip liner, and eyebrow pencil. That keeps it simple, small. I always like having chapstick on me, one that I keep as a backup and one that I use every day. Hand sanitizer, insect repellent, and obviously make sure everything is travel sized and to look up the rules around it. Sometimes they just let you have a gallon size Ziploc bag and all your liquids need to fit in there. And then, yeah, don't forget to pack any meds. I always like to pack a small little travel sized Kleenex. You never know when there's going to be no toilet paper in a bathroom. And that has saved me many times. So, side tip, I actually try to bring two of those. Again, I'll refill as I need. Just stuff that has been really helpful. And I can't wait to share my invention with you because you will hopefully be able to bring that along too. But I haven't launched it yet. Soon, soon. It's coming soon. You don't need to pack this, but if you get hungry, you might want to bring a couple bars, maybe some nuts if you have space in your pack, and a water bottle that is reusable. So, actually, talking about reusable water bottles, this is a Hydro Flask. And I love bringing this on my travels. By the way, I had to buy this because I would drop it so much. But I love bringing this on vacation and when I'm going somewhere that's going to be warm because this will keep my water cold, even if it's really hot out there and your water will be hot and melted. So with something like a Hydro Flask, it'll keep your water insulated and cold all day long. Or if you want to put tea in it, it keeps it warm. Plus, it's better for the planet. That's another thing when you're out there is trying to minimize your impact with plastics. So do your part and bring your water bottle. Let's talk about electronics. So for me, I travel and I work. So I always bring my computer. Obviously, if you are able to get away with not bringing your computer, don't. Obviously, you might need an iPad or want to bring your iPad or some sort of a tablet. Don't forget to pack your phone, charging cords, maybe bring an extra or two, and your battery and the connectors, your extra battery pack. It saves me all the time when I'm traveling. I could not travel without an extra battery pack. There's been so many times you're taking photos and videos, and then the next thing you know, your battery is half dead and it's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you've still got all day. And then your earbuds, if you use that kind of thing. A couple of other small things is I always travel with an eye mask and earplugs because you never know on the airplane if you want to take a nap. Talking about travel pillow, if you're going somewhere where you're going to sleep on the airplane, you can bring it. Here's some other optional things that you can think about. These are these packing cubes. For me, they're hit or miss. I think if you have a big pack and you have no problem with fitting stuff, cool. I like them, don't get me wrong, but sometimes if I roll my stuff up, I just get a lot more space and I feel like things fit much easier. So I'll let you think about that on your own. Do you want to bring a book? I usually just download ebooks onto my phone. I do like to buy a little journal every time I travel in the country, and that's my little memory keepsake. And then I'll write in my journal any memories, things like that. I did want to show you one more thing that I brought out. I recently bought this and it has all these different options for connections when you're traveling to certain countries. So I just wanted to give you an example. I also like this one because it had all the connections here. So I could connect my computer, my phone, my iWatch, all the things. It's an all-in-one converter. Travel insurance is something to consider. I don't always get travel insurance. I do it sometimes. It depends on the trip. And I'll give you an example. When I went to Africa, it was not only my trip to Africa, I was leading a group, but also I was traveling to South Africa and Japan. It was like almost 2 months of travel. And in that case, it was worth it. I paid a flat fee. I think it was like $300. And I usually use World Nomads for that. It's totally up to you, however you want to do it. I really weigh it out depending on the plan, how long I'll be gone, how expensive the trip is, and all of that. Okay, my last tip for today before moving into my top 10 list is bringing a reusable bag for shopping for groceries and lugging items around, like to the beach. When I'm traveling, I will definitely shop at the grocery store and I try to make some food when you're out and about and you're shopping. It's just nice having that bag. And actually, I was gifted by Oboz this really nice little packable bag. It's like this small. It stuffs into this little tiny pouch, doesn't take up a lot of space. So, yeah, that's my last tip. With that, I'm going to get into the top 10 items when traveling. Number one, your passport is extremely important. Number two, your cash and credit cards, debit cards. So, having some way to pay for things. Number three is your pack. So, how you're going to carry all of your items. Number four is at least some footwear. And if I had to choose, I would just go with a pair of good walking, hiking, everyday shoe. As I mentioned, to me, that was something like the Oboz Catabatic LT. Number five is a rain jacket. Number six, convertible pants that turn into shorts, or you can use as a pair of pants. Number seven, your shirts or shirt. Number eight, bathing suit. Number nine, your underwear. And followed by my last one, which honestly, it was so hard for me to figure out like what it was. But I guess I'm just going to go ahead and say toiletries. You're going to need your toothpaste and your toothbrush. I'm sure you could really say there's other things that are absolutely necessary, but those were my top 10 items if I had to pick in that order. All right. So that's it for today's episode. I hope you learned a ton and that you know that you can really fit all these things in a 40-liter bag and have your personal item bag and put the rest of the items in there. You can make it work. It's possible. Trust me, you don't need as much stuff as you think you're going to need. You don't need to bring everything that you have in your closet and you don't need 10,000 outfits. It's a hassle carrying all that stuff around, but again, do what feels right for you. I just wanted you to know that it is possible to travel light and avoid extra luggage fees. And yeah, It's great. Get out there and learn where you're going and what you're going to need. Like I said, depending on the location, you might need to pack extra stuff. If you're going somewhere cold, you definitely will have to probably have more luggage than a small backpack, but you'll figure out the best solutions for luggage as you're thinking about where you're going and how accessible it is for lugging luggage around, or maybe you bring a larger backpacking pack and all of that. I've been able to get away with it. I've gone all over the world in places that I needed all levels of layers and just having a backpacking bag and a regular backpack on me. So it is doable with a little planning and knowing that you can layer things on. Anything is really truly possible, and you can get around and not have to stop at the end when you're tired from a flight and wait for your luggage, and just walk out the airplane and be where you want to be. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next episode.